Hi, I am Lacretia Roberts, an LMFT intern at Latte Wellness, and I am here with my co-host and partner, Rian, who is also a intern. You are doing social services, social
Yep,
work.
at MSW, so a master's in social work.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So we are here today to talk about self-acceptance and confidence for adolescents and teens, and just kind of trying to get some understanding and some perspective on a lot of the teens that we've seen or worked with in our field in the past in the field who struggle with being able to accept themselves or get acceptance from others, and also who lack certain confidences that it would take for them to be able to have certain types of connection or feel connected. So that's our topic today, that we're gonna kind of dive into. So um, I've mentioned to you before, Rian, that when I think about confidence and acceptance, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is what are the barriers to teens and youth in trying to develop and maintain a sense of self-confidence and self-acceptance. Um, for me, I think the first thing that I think of is now we exist in a time where we are shrouded and surrounded by social media. And as we're consistently scrolling and getting our entertainment fixes, the people who are entertaining us are presenting and projecting this certain image, this image of being well put together, being kind of, perfection, having this perfection about them. And I think that youths are seeing things like this and they're comparing themselves and saying like, oh, well, she has, 1 million followers or whatever. He has this many, and I don't look like that, or I don't talk like that, or I don't act like that. Therefore, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like that plays a huge role. Have you dealt with anything like that in your experience with your clients, Ryan?
Yeah, I think that social media can be a great tool to bring people around the world together and to
Yeah.
make a person more knowledgeable on any particular subject. But I also
Yes.
think as a kid, from a youth's perspective, that there can be a lot of pressure that things need to look perfect in order
Mhm.
for you, or when something looks perfect, it equals more followers, more attention. So if
Mhm.
I'm not perfect, then that means that I won't get followers. And back in the day when I was younger, social media really was a tool for you to be creative. Like MySpace was
Yeah.
just something where you're like creative. Whereas now it almost feels like, or what I've seen from other kids and what they've said, is that social media makes you feel like you might not be good enough to post, or something has to look a specific type of way in order
Yeah.
for it to meet worthy of posting. So it's not
Absolutely.
fun anymore. It's almost like a
Yeah.
job, you know? Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I agree. I couldn't say it any better. It is. It's like a competition, right? So they're just like, am I good enough to get in? And it's like this, if they're not getting the reactions they're looking for, they're asking like, well, what's wrong with me? Why can't I be like this? And that whole comparison thing starts to happen. And I think too, another piece of this is like some of the negative perceptions that can develop too from things like bullying in the schools with just the people, their peers that kids are seeing every single day, and not being able to feel like they have enough of a support or connection to open up and say, hey, this is happening to me. And now I feel like I'm like this big because I deal with this every day and I'm internalizing it and I can't talk to anyone. I don't feel supported. And I'm starting to believe what this person is bullying me. They're at school, but then there's also, social media bullying, cyberbullying now too. So it's like there's the dual forms that it can come in. So like, what are your thoughts on
I'm
on
so glad that you kind of brought that up, because even when I scroll through apps like TikTok or Instagram, they don't always let you know that who you're speaking to or the person who commented is a child. So I've seen like on TikTok where someone says something and it could be misinformed or like people
Mhm.
disagree with it, and you'll have 100 comments under it talking, talking down about the person.
Yeah.
But it's like we've really entered this sphere, like the internet and social media are this space where like adults and youth kind of collide. And I do
Mhm.
believe that children, adolescents, and teens deserve a space to, make mistakes, to learn, to grow, to
Mm.
feel accepted. You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely resonate with a lot of what you said.
Yeah, they do need that space. And I think that if we, not saying, because I think that initially the concepts of social media was connection, not to bring people apart, but to bring people together who may not be able to otherwise. And now it's kind of sort of evolved into like this other thing. And kids are reaching out to it to get entertainment and different things, but the experience is changing. And so now there's the shaming and the bullying, the side, like it's, oh well, you know, you can't, you're trying to express your opinion and kind of that autonomy as a adolescent, like I have something to say, I'm gonna say it, like I saw this post and I'm gonna comment what I think, and then to get shut down or like attacked for having a perspective or thinking differently, it can be like debilitating for some kids.
Absolutely. Can you imagine being 15 years old and just stating your opinion, saying something like, I don't like Beyonce's hair today, and then, adults chiming in? It can really affect you. So I definitely give teens a lot of credit today
Mhm.
because I don't even know how I would have handled it being a teen and being on social media. I'm sure it shapes their adolescent
Yeah,
experience. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And then there's just kind of home life, I think, like kids at home not getting acceptance. So like this makes me think about like some of our kids who might be on the spectrum, or some of our kids who might be dealing with gender identity issues and not being accepted or received by the people that they trust the most, who are their parents in their homes. Their family members are rejecting them. So I think too, getting rejected by the closest, the closest forms of support that you might think you have or you think you should be able to have, they don't have that as well. And so it's presenting another aspect. So maybe if we're not safe at home with being accepted, we're not safe at school with being accepted, we're not safe in media being accepted. And so I feel like it's like a trifecta if those scenarios come into play that way. Like I'm dealing with my own personal issues with identity. I'm already doubting who I am as a growing adolescent, as a growing person, trying to figure out who I want to be. And then I can't be accepted in any of these environments that I'm naturally going to be drawn to. And so then we have low confidence. We've got, I don't have any, how am I going to be confident when no one around me is supportive or encouraging for me to thrive, kind of, I guess, is where that takes me. What about you?
Yeah, I totally agree with what you said. I think that social media, while it has so many issues, for some kids, I think that it could be an outlet. So, for example,
Yeah,
if you are experiencing at home, no one accepts you for who you are, and at school, no one accepts you for who you are, but you plug in a hashtag about something specific that you're into, you
mhm.
might kick back community or be able to see the
That's
world in
true.
a different light. So there is some perspective there, but when you put it that way, when you say what their reality could be at home,
Mhm.
not being accepted, at school not being accepted, possibly being bullied online, that's an enormous amount of pressure for a child to
Yeah,
navigate on their own. So
yeah,
I definitely encourage parents to love their kids for who they are. They
yeah,
might grow, they might
absolutely.
change, they might grow and stay the same, but it's your job as a parent to love them for who they are.
Yes, 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 I agree 100,000%. Like kids are going to be kids and everyone is unique. And I feel like the first thing we have to do is stop comparing don't compare yourself to media. Don't compare yourself to things you see in media. Don't compare yourself to other people in your school. You don't have to live up to anybody else's measure or standard. You have to kind of get into the space of defining your own path, defining thinking for yourself, and defining what you want, because it's your life. You only get this one chance to live this life for yourself. So don't live it for anybody else, because if you do, you're losing out and on the opportunity that you could have to be confident, in trying to find some happiness, some kind of make sense of some kind of part of your world. But I think that also positive affirmations is the other thing, and positive self-talk, changing the way that we're talking. Like I hear some of the kids, the way they talk about themselves and the way they talk about each other. And it could be some of it is like just normal language, normal language, but we need to change that language. We need to change what's normal and normalize something more positive, just to get closer to being more accepting. Because nowadays it's certain words that can be said that can trigger different reactions, different spirals for kids who are internalizing. A simple one word thing can shift somebody into thinking completely differently about whether or not they feel accepted or be accepted, or whether or not they feel like they can accept themselves. And so if we start changing that to more positive language, maybe, saying things like, oh, you look, what's up, gorgeous, what's up, beautiful, hey, like for females, guys, hey, what's up, man, what's up, buddy, like, instead of these other kind of more derogatory, like different things that they might say that are more on the leaning more towards a negative perception that can get internalized. It's kind of habit after a while. But I think as clinicians, if we can work with some youth to kind of reshape that a little bit, reframe some of those. But what do you think? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I don't want to lose my thought because you were bringing up some really, really yummy stuff there. But I was thinking that our society today is they teach tolerating people and being tolerable of others. But I think
Yes,
true inclusivity comes when we celebrate individuality and uniqueness. So if we could create a culture of celebrating rather than just tolerating, someone who doesn't fit the
absolutely.
mold feels like they can be included. We have an inclusive space where everyone here is celebrated. So I can bring whatever uniqueness and whatever difference about myself and know that other people will not just tolerate me, but accept me and celebrate me. And I feel like if we could have that as our mindset, then I feel like kiddos, it could take just one load off their back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That just being able to just say, like, come as you are. Come as you
Yeah.
are and be who you are, and we welcome versus you're here and I'll just deal with it because I don't feel like I have a choice. But that makes all the difference in the world, from someone feeling like I'm accepted here. Like it's genuine. That authenticity, I think, is a piece of it too. Learning how to be authentic. But I think that that part starts with feeling comfortable with yourself enough to be authentic, and knowing that if I am authentic, I won't be rejected, and knowing how to handle what happens when rejection occurs, so that it's not that taking kiddos to that devastating place that, oh, I got rejected, so now something's wrong with me. So how can I be confident? How can I accept myself because I was rejected when I tried to be my most authentic self? And so I think teaching those coping skills to kind of say, like, here's how you can respond, differently when somebody has a critique for you that doesn't necessarily align with your own self view.
Mhm.
How we're taking what do we take away from that? What are the beliefs? I think we should examine what the beliefs are that stem from those types of interactions, and kind of try to stop them in their tracks before it seems to kind of become reinforced, this reinforced idea that taints, acceptance and
Mhm.
confidence.
Mhm.
But what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, and what's your baseline? Like some people have a baseline of defaulting to negative self-talk, defaulting to feelings of worthlessness. So that's why to me, at home, it's so crucial to
Mhm.
celebrate your children. If
Yeah.
they're accepted at home, if they have to go out and fight the world, they shouldn't have to come home and fight at home too. So I feel
Yes.
like for
Yes.
parents, it should be really important to create a beautiful foundation where even if a child is met with resistance, that resiliency is always their baseline. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah, you need to have those tools to be able to feel confident enough to be yourself and to also battle when people oppose you.
Yes. Yes. I love what you said about family. Like if you're battling the world, you can't also have to, you shouldn't have to battle, you know, your family. Your family, it starts there, I think. I think it starts with the home environment, with the parents, with your first line of caregivers, guardians, what have you, whoever's raising these youth, being able to accept them first, I think is a strong, strong way to reinforce their own acceptance. Because if you spend years, being closest to your family members and they accept you, you're going to spend years feeling accepted. And so then when you do go out and you go to school and somebody says something, or you go online and somebody says something, you have enough of that reinforcement, that resilience built up, that you can just be like, that's nonsense. I know it's nonsense, because I've lived for 7 years with my mom and my aunt and so or whoever, and they're telling me different. I know different. It starts with the family. So I think,
Oh, wait, can I bring something up? So I
yeah.
watched TikTok and this girl,
Mhm.
she was saying that when she was younger, people used to call her ugly. And so she said that because her family had instilled so much self-confidence in her and
Mhm.
telling her that she was beautiful, and she began to believe that she's beautiful,
Yeah.
when someone came to her and was like, "You're ugly," she was like, "I don't even have the cognitive synapses to like digest that and make that make
Yeah.
sense." So it's just that you're gonna have to keep that over there. And that cracked me up. It
Yeah.
bravo to her family for
Mhm.
instilling that in her, because it's true, you know?
Mhm. So we have to, I feel like, bringing in the parents and just kind of celebrate the kids. I love that. Like they need to feel celebrated. They need to have a win. They need to know that like they're loved regardless of even those moments. Because kids have moments. Everybody does, though. We're all human. So we all have moments, and just being able to have those moments and then know I'm still loved, I'm still accepted for being me. It's where we start. I think that's the first place. And then I think finding other places of support outside the home to supplement. So kiddos doing things that they, with groups of people who are doing things they want to do. So if you love dance and you don't have that at school, like get them in a dance class or something like that outside, so that they can start meeting other kids who love dance too. That type of connection gives them the type of support that helps them become accepting of maybe their truth or their authentic self is, I'm a dancer. I want to be in, dance my whole life or whatever. They have that additional layer of support from their peers, because sometimes there's some of those kids, they'll hear from their family and then their reaction is, well, you're just saying that because you have to, or you're just saying that because you love me. That's not my friends, that their peers opinions become more valued or higher valued in the hierarchy than family. Sometimes there's that imbalance and it starts to lean, and so they start minimizing what they're hearing from the family, even if they know they're right. They're like, oh, but you're just saying that because you're my mom or something. And it's like, but little Jimmy told me the other day that I'm not pretty, so I think you're just saying that. And so I think too, having friends in your interest groups will help, because now we have something in common, we can build off of that, and that will supplement, hopefully, that parents, celebrating the kids and things like that. What are your thoughts there?
I agree with you. I think that when kids get to a certain stage, I know when we look
Mhm.
at like developmentally, there's all those theories about how once a kid gets to being a teenager and adolescent,
Mhm.
home comes second to being accepted socially because that's their
Yeah.
first step into the world. Yeah. So they want to
Yeah.
know that the world they're stepping into is safe and that they're accepted. So I absolutely agree that peer support is very important, which is also why I do believe schools should prioritize that as well, their
Yes.
socio-emotional health and not just their
Yes.
academic health. But I would just say that kiddos should always invite joy. Joy shouldn't be earned. It should be something that you experience every single day, no matter what that is.
Yes.
Dungeons and Dragons,
Absolutely.
acting, all of those things aren't just extracurricular things. They are crucial to your development as an adult and a coming
Yes.
adult. Yeah.
Yes. Crucial to your identity. Like this is who
Yeah.
you are, and that's beautiful. Who you are is beautiful. Who you choose to be is beautiful. And I love this. I love this. Um, so I think in wrapping up, I feel like this was a wonderful talk. I love this. This topic is really good. I think it starts with family and peer support, and changing the positive talk, thinking positive, speaking positive, starting to refer to yourself and consider yourself positively. And then I think deciding to forge your own path and feeling celebrated for it no matter what. um those are kind of the areas where we start in trying to combat all of these barriers that are naturally going to pop up in our lives.
Mhm.
But yeah, what are your thoughts in closing?
I would say that for kiddos that don't have that, that don't experience acceptance at home, or if they're experiencing challenges at school,
Mhm.
if you find that you are questioning yourself,
Mhm.
then that's a great indicator that you need to reach out to some trusted adult,
Absolutely.
or resource, or maybe talk to a school counselor to get resources on
Mhm.
how to feel more celebrated. Because a child shouldn't feel that, oh, I have to do this to be able to fit in. You're perfect as you are, and you deserve joy and you deserve peace. And if you're not experiencing
Absolutely.
that, then reach out to those trusted adults to help you.
They're there. We're here. So there's
Mm-hmm.
always someone that is ready and waiting to celebrate you. Always, always
Yes.
gonna be. Somewhere
Yes.
you will forge that connection. It's available. So this has been great. So this has been Ryan, LSW intern, and Lacretia, LMFT intern, talking today about self-confidence and acceptance. Wonderful conversations. You'll see us again here next week. All right.
Yes.
Awesome.
Bye.